Hey guys, welcome to Brick Vault. I am Charlie, aka Jack's brother, aka Level Cap, and I will be walking you over the Final Yavin IV vlog. This is a giant Star Wars diorama that we started quite some time ago. Well over a year's worth of work put into it, maybe almost 2 years, probably 2 years at this point, if you're going from concept, the very early phases, to where we are now. And I am very happy with how far we got on this model. It is so cool, and I just want to show you some really cool beauty shots of this thing today, because ultimately it is going to get taken apart. We've decided to move studios, and that means this is not really coming with us. Not only is it not built for transport, really, I mean, it could be done if we absolutely wanted to, but we're moving to a place that just won't be able to facilitate this large model. Luckily, we have been able to show it off to members of the public and absolutely blow some minds. People who like Star Wars came in here and were just losing it over this diorama. For those of you not too familiar with Yavin IV, this served as the home base for the rebellion during their resistance against the Empire. Many attacks were launched from Yavin IV. It has a huge staging area for spaceships outside of this ancient temple. We did not build the entire temple, because if we did, it would have gone through the roof of our studio. So I figured 3 hangars from the temple was more than enough. As you guys can see, it's absolutely massive. It takes up most of this large room that we have here. And I think it looks awesome. This temple here took the most time to build out of this whole diorama. Internally, it's very complicated. There's a lot of supporting structures hidden behind these tan bricks. And all those bricks on the front face there are separated by half of a stud, which means the internal structure is incredibly complicated, and it makes the stepping of them actually a lot more fragile than you would think. You can't just pick one of these things up. There's a special handle on the inside that allows you to lift it. Otherwise, the outside is just way too fragile. I'd like to give a big shout out to Brick Stuff for sponsoring the LED lights for this diorama. Brick Stuff is brickstuff.com. They have a great website where they sell LED lighting kits specifically made for LEGO creations, and we have used them extensively here. We've lit all our X-Wings, our Ghost with their lighting kit, and they look great. I love them. They plug into USB power. They're easy to use. They can route between bricks and plates and stuff like that, so they're absolutely perfect for just injecting a little bit extra life to your LEGO diorama. The ships on this tarmac are made by a variety of different builders. The Ghost here is designed by me initially, and then I worked collaboratively with a guy named Sean to put together a final completed build, and we do sell that one in the web store. It's probably one of our bigger mocks that we sell. The X-Wing here, along with the Rebels version of the A-Wing and the classic A-Wing as well, plus the Y-Wing, were all designed by Jarek, who's one of our more prominent builders in our store, and he sells all the instructions to those, and they're just incredible builds. Looking close at them, I think these are some of the best Star Wars ships designed from the original trilogy. Something that I had a lot of fun personally designing were these little LEGO cargo trains. These basically service ships around the tarmac. They deliver cargo, they do maintenance, deliver ammunition, whatever you need. I followed as closely the original designs from both the movies. Rogue One had some great concepts for it, and even the Star Wars Battlefront video games fleshed these out a little bit more. So I followed them as closely as possible. There's even a little ion torpedo cart there that are littered around the tarmac in various locations. There's also these little troop transports that I really liked designing. They're a little bit of a complicated design if you want to do it as accurately to the movie material, as the figs just sit on them. There's no actual handhold points there. I think they made them very quickly for the original film, and not a lot of time was taken to go into the actual logistics of them, but we've got a few of them around the tarmac ferrying the troops around. We've also got these little generators littered throughout the tarmac, running hoses to the ships, fueling them up, getting them ready for their next mission. I really like it. It adds just sort of a lived-in feel to this space here, adding little piles of ion torpedoes and crates and other things around the tarmac, like they're They're getting ready. The Y-wing, which is so notorious for breaking down in between missions or on missions, is being worked on right now by a little guy who's welding it. Again, this one came from Brick Stuff, and I just love the little eye candy that the flashing lights and stuff can provide. Some of the ships have this working scaffolding raised above them. This scaffolding is actually directly taken from the films as well. I'm not exactly sure what it's meant for. I think it's just to get up to higher places on ships, do some welding, get onto hard to reach places, but it is in the films, and it's like sort of this key element to working on things. You even see it in Hoth a bit as well. For those of you who don't know, Yavin IV is a jungly planet, and this temple, which is basically in an overgrown location, is being somewhat consumed by the jungle of the planet and the wildlife as it comes around. And so this jungle here is encroaching on the tarmac itself. And what I like about this is it kind of gave me a bit of freedom to decide how do I want this to start integrating to the rest of what's going on with the base. So we started making little paths going through it. There's a river running through the jungle. We've got a dude back there drinking out of the water. I don't know if he's a native, but he got there somehow, and now he's making the best of it. We got rebels picking flowers, walking down the path here. We even got a Diorama into the lake here, who's grabbed one of those rebel pilots who was just aimlessly wandering around on his own. Not recommended in the jungles of Yavin IV. We've got a little walker coming through here, because why not, right? You need some patrols. There's a few stones and other things scattered around, right? They must have fallen off of the temple. And then as we kind of hit the point at which we stopped working on this mock, we've got a log tree going over the river here. We've got one of the bigger trees that Jack designed coming all the way up here. And of course, one of my favorite elements, aside from Boba Fett hiding in the trees right there and planning an attack or relaying info to the Empire, is this little guy up here. Let me see if I can get it to focus on him. This is our little guard. He's got some sort of, I forgot the lore on him, but his spear is supposedly like a laser spear or something. So if you're wondering, why does he have a spear all the way up there above the canopy on the trees? I guess it's a laser spear, and he's the lookout. But I do really like the way that he looks out over the tarmac here, and kind of, it looks like he could inform the rebel bases to anything weird going on or something like that. So I buy it. I buy that he's a crucial part of this base component here. We also elevated a few starfighters up off the ground, ran the cables through the tube below them, and managed to get the lighting in the cockpit, engines lit up. We've got that X-wing that's elevated in the air as well. I really, really like how far this build has come. I'm going to be sad taking it down, but I've had a lot of time to sort of enjoy it and look at it. We were able to get a bunch of people from the public in here to check it out as well. And so I'm happy with it. Many Lego creations are never permanent, and eventually they will have to go. And this one is going to go as well. I don't know if I'm going to save part of it. It's going to be hard to try and save a chunk, you know, like trying to save a wall or a hanger or something like that. It would be cool, but it's going to be difficult, and I don't know if I'll ever reassemble it. I think what will happen is if I save something, it'll just end up in storage forever until I try and break it down at a later date. So anyway, this last Yavin vlog is to try and show you guys all the cool stuff that we ended up with at the final version of this build, and to try and give you guys as good of a look at all the details and stuff before it comes down. For those of you who got to see it in person, thank you for dropping by the studio when we were briefly open. I think one thing that came across from everybody who came here was that seeing this in person versus having seen the vlogs on YouTube, there was no comparison. Everybody said in person, it's just like absolutely ridiculous. And if I could somehow convey that through the video, I would. But that is one of the things about Lego. You really do have to go see some of these bigger builds in person to really appreciate their scale and the detail and the beauty of them. So, you know, go to your local Lego events when you can. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the Yavin vlogs. I hope you enjoyed watching the progress of this build. And we'll see you next time here at Brick Vault.